All right, we're back with another movie review. What I hope I watched the right movie. What are we doing this time, Faisal?
We're watching Heretic.
Heretic. Yes, I watched
Okay, that is good. Okay.
it.
Would it be hilarious if we just watched two completely different movies?
And we should do that. How
Um,
about we each review a different movie, but we don't tell each other what it is, and then we have to figure it out.
like a book report? Actually, that'd be kind of fun, honestly. Like no details, no specific characters, just like tell the story.
I guess
What'd
let's
you
get into
think?
it. What did I think? I thought it was awesome. Yeah, I loved it.
Man, it was so good.
Yeah, it was one location, very small cast, like basically three people for the most of the movie.
What a performance Hugh Grant puts in.
Oh yeah, like he was so good at being so non-threatening that it was threatening.
Yes,
I'm just like third of the way into the movie. I'm like, sooner or later he's got to get mean. He's got to
and
do
he never
something.
does.
And he's just like, even when he's doing horrible things, he's at least nice about it. Like it's yeah, like he deserves all the praise he got for it. The two young women did very well too at
Oh man, they
portraying.
did great.
It's one of those things where I almost liked the first half better before it got super intense, when it was just like you kind of get the impression that he's keeping them prisoner, but
You're like,
he's not acting like it, but they kind of are.
something's going on when they like in the trailer they have that blueberry candle thing, and I thought that's when it would turn. I thought, do you ever see 10 Cloverfield Lane? Okay, I thought that's what I was going to be watching when they look at the blueberry candle and she turns it. Like I was half expecting her to be like run, and then they try to run and they find the doors locked, but like no, it just like stays on this steady tension just through the whole thing. And like even you almost forget about the blueberry candle thing until he brings it up later.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things too where like people have it, people usually want to be so nice and non-confrontational that they'll even put themselves in bad situations. Like
Yes.
part of me, it's like at every step, I was like, just run, just leave right now. Like just make up some excuse or
Yep.
be like, hey, fuck you, buddy, we're out of here. But they're just
Oh
like they
no,
don't want
gotta
to be
get out of
rude,
here.
so it's like they inch their way along until the point where it was like too late.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was really good. So like the story is ostensibly I get some more a pair of Mormon girls. They were talking. It's so the way they open it and everything. It's just like there's so many little things that I'm just like this is what makes a movie so good. It's the little details they have. But you open on these Mormon girls and they're on their mission and they're going out and they're trying to recruit people and they're talking about how they haven't. One has saved a bunch, some hasn't. And they show up at Hugh Grant's store. And Hugh Grant invites them in, but they're like, "Oh, we can't go in there unless there's a woman present." He's like, "Oh no, my wife is here. She's making a pie." And so we go in and to eat pie with Hugh Grant, and he starts like, I feel like we just had an, I just had an, I not the battle of wits, but we just had a whole ideological conversation similar to Eric just now. But yeah, they start having this ideological conversation and they start talking about like what do you really think of Mormonism and all this. And like at first he just seems like this annoying old man who's just trying to be like, haha, I'm right. And like just gets more and more sinister. And like I'm gonna try not to spoil it for anyone because like I would highly recommend watching this movie. I would say if you haven't watched this movie, watch this movie.
Yeah, it's I kind of never really knew where it was going because when they first start talking to him, he's kind of like, oh, he knows a little bit about Mormonism. He even has a copy of the book, and like it looks like it's been read because he's got bookmarks in there and stuff. So it seems like maybe he's open to it, and he actually knows a lot about other religions. But then it kind of starts to turn where he's like, all religions are bullshit, is what he's saying. Like they all kind
Yep.
of like Islam and Judaism and Christianity are all kind of riffs on the same thing. So which of them are they're either all right or all wrong, and the girls are kind of like, okay, like can we go now? And then it's just like there's always an excuse of why they can't leave, and
What's
then
happening? Yeah.
yeah, and he's like, oh, the door, my front door doesn't open because it's on a timer, and they're like,
Even had an explanation for that, because in any normal movie, that will be the point where shit goes like it starts to escalate. But like he even was like, "Oh no, this is a normal thing. It's just a timer. You'll have to leave through the back entrance, which is like down in the spooky basement."
but you kind of see their problem, right? Is that like, well, they can't get out and they may not be able to overpower him. So, but he seems friendly, so maybe just go along with what he's saying. But then it's like,
Yeah.
now you're further in the house. Now you know he's lying about his wife, and it's like, do you really want to go down to the basement? It's probably only going to get worse.
No, there's no way I'm going deeper into the strange man's house. But also, yeah, you can't like, oh man, I was just like, is there a window somewhere nearby? Like it did a very good job of keeping the tension like high.
Yeah, I think if I was them, I would have just sat on the couch and waited till morning when the timer on the front door opened, and at least go for
Oh
that.
man.
But it's one of those things too where it's like, okay, they could, bash him over the head or stab him or something. How
But
they
then they're
explain that
attacking
to
an
the
old man in his house,
Yeah, how
basically.
would they explain that to the police? Like, did he do anything to hurt you? Well, no, but he lied about
Creepy.
baking us a pie. So it's like you can see why they had limited options. And then in the second half, it starts to get like very. I was thinking it looked like it was gonna go like paranormal because they had this like woman who's supposed to be a prophet, and it's like she dies and then comes back to life,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, this is going in a weird direction. But then I don't want to ruin it, but it turns out that that's not quite what happened. I think he was trying to prove a point that all of your, religious figures, basically could have been faked. That was kind of the point of the thing. It's like if you weren't there, you're relying on the words of eyewitnesses from thousands of years ago, where you just witnessed this thing that you can't explain. Like he kind of had some point, but at the end, like his point was just it wasn't as grandiose as it was like led to believe. He was just some manipulative asshole, basically.
Yep. Yeah, it was just, oh man. Yeah, I'm trying very hard not to say anything too like spoilery, like, which makes it hard to talk about it, but like watch this movie. I can't recommend it enough. It's so very well done. Have you seen any of the other movies by these guys? They did a movie called Nightlight, which I haven't seen. They did A Quiet Place.
Okay, okay, same. Okay, quiet, please.
I guess they wrote A Quiet Place. It's a team. It's two dudes, Scott
Yeah,
Beck
I know
and
it was
Bob
two guys.
Nichols. So they did that, and they've done a movie called 65, which looks interesting enough, with Adam Driver, who plays an astronaut on an unknown planet.
Yeah, I think this is the first. Well, I've seen A Quiet Place, but this is maybe the first one I saw that they directed. And it was kind of funny too that Topher Grace has a cameo in this, but he doesn't
As
really
the
do much. Like,
he shows up looking for them, right? Is he the one who shows up looking for the
yeah,
girl? Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's kind of a plot point that the guy comes to the door that could potentially rescue them. That it kind of works into the story, but it almost and then they have a few scenes of him at the church, like mopping up. It just seems like they added that in later, where they're like, "Oh, hey, we can get Topher Grace. Let's give him a couple scenes." So they made stuff for him to do that has nothing to do in the movie, really.
I guess, yeah, fair enough. That could have been like any character, really.
Yeah, like quite frankly, they could have been no one. You could have just heard some guy like, "Hey, I'm looking for these two girls." I guess they're like, "Well, we can't give Topher Grace like 20 seconds of screen time. We got to give him a few
We gotta,
scenes
if
at
we're gonna
least."
pay him, we're gonna use him.
They have him like show up at that other place and ask, and there's those two people that are like, "Oh, we haven't seen him." It just seemed like that was kind of like wedged in there, but which is fine. But like 90% of the movie was just Hugh Grant and the two girls, and they did. There's not a lot of movies that are like this tense. Like most horror movies, they have freaky stuff in them or whatever, like scary imagery, but they're not this
They're
tense.
not this static. They don't stay in one place this much. And yeah, you're right. They're not this tense. And nothing for the first half of the film, nothing crazy, violent, or paranormal or supernatural happens. It's all based on their performances.
Part of me wishes that it had have continued with Hugh Grant being the nice guy the whole time, because it was just like weird that he could be so intimidating and menacing, but he's being absolutely friendly. He's even like, "Yeah, you can leave anytime you want. Like, well, I'm not keeping you here." But it's just like, that's part of his trick, right? He's somehow leading you further into the trap by being so nice. I think a couple things I didn't like so much is right near the very beginning when there's those like girls in the street and they pull down the main girl's pants to show her like Mormon like underwear. I don't know,
It
it's
was
like
a little weird.
it's like who does that? Was that just to show that like, oh, Mormons wear like their garments underneath or like it just I don't know, it just seemed like it's like who the hell pulls someone's
I might
pants
have
down in public?
to rewatch it, but I feel like maybe it was also a call because like that's what she ended up saying then to like make trigger her to trigger and
Yeah, it just seemed
she
like
said Mormon underwear.
but it's like they could have. That was the only thing it was kind of I don't know like outrageous. But the rest of the movie, especially the build up, was fairly calm. It slowly led you into this, and this is the
That
one
is true. It's
moment.
not. It's a very non-person thing to do. Nobody in real life would
Yeah,
actually.
Like that's
That's
probably like they could have called the cops. I mean, that's like some sort of sexual battery or something, isn't it? Like it
it's
just
at least assault.
yeah, it just seems like it's too much. And then they go right back into the everything's calm and normal and the very slow build up. But like I'd say there's probably like Hugh Grant is a guy who's known for doing like romantic comedies like in the 90s. So for
Yep.
him to be like the main villain and it's like, yeah, he did a damn good job.
Well, he played a villain in The Gentleman, which came out a while back, a couple of years ago, and that was the first time I'd seen him play like a different kind of non-rom-com role, and he did such a good job in that. And then yeah, I saw him pop up on this, and I was like, huh, I want to watch this.
And it was nice to see the girls, especially when at first they're just like they're intimidated, kind of scared, but eventually they start like matching wits with him.
Yes.
And they're just kind of like they're calling him out on his bullshit because he's like this intellectual who's pointing out to them the absurdity of all religions. And then they're kind of like, well, there's things that you didn't point out, right? There's cracks in your argument too. And so they kind of
Well,
call
he
him out
shows
on
an
his bullshit.
understanding. He's not just attacking the religion. They like whoever wrote it, these two guys, they understand both sides of the
Yeah.
argument really well.
Yeah, it's like, well, here's evidence that proves that all of this is not real. And they're like, yeah, but they poke holes in your argument. And it just seems like the directors had some sort of like religious frustration and they just had to like voice it somehow in this movie. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
if they're
they're
like ex-Mormons or something, but it just seems like there's a lot of pent up, I don't know, like disbelief or something or like questioning of it where it's like, let's kind of show both sides. But and the thing is, I don't think Mormon like female because all the missionaries I'm pretty sure are men. Like women do kind of missions, but they don't do the door to door stuff. So I'm wondering if
no.
they kind of I'm pretty sure. So I don't. I'm wondering if they kind of switch the rules a bit just to make this possible, or could be that I'm wrong. But like all the missionary, I guess I saw missionaries yesterday on the street and they held the door for me, but they're always guys.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever I've seen them anywhere, they're always guys. You're right. I've never se- I'm very I've met you know what though? Once I met a group of girl Mormon missionaries. When me and my friend were gonna go see a Dee Arnwood concert like years ago. And these like three or four girls ran up on us and we were like smoking a joint back and forth and they were like, "Oh, we're Mormon." And then like yeah, they didn't want to smoke the joint and they wanted to tell us about the Book of Mormon and my friend was kind of trying to tease them about play and the girls were like, "Oh yeah, we love that play. We've heard all the songs and stuff." And I was like, "Huh, experience." So once I've been run up on by like women Mormon missionaries.
Huh. Yeah, I heard that like they exist, but they like their job is to like they do more like support stuff. Like they do something to like help, but they're not the ones like knocking on doors or
Yeah,
preaching.
I don't know
Probably for
what.
the reasons they say here. Like it just seems like two young women alone in a house would be more it'd be more of a threatening situation. Which like I don't know if that's sexist or not, but it's like it is, especially when they're going all around the world. So if you're in some third
People
world
can be
country, it might
so
be like scary just to be alone with a guy,
yeah.
But
Well, people can be so insensitive, especially like, yeah, people can be so insensitive to people they deem as strangers or like religious people or anything like that. And especially if they're women, people can have like terrible
Yeah.
reactions.
You kind of see right away where the story's going. It's like, okay, they're knocking on the door. This guy's obviously going to be some sort of bad guy. Even towards the end of the movie, I'm like, I still can't really predict where this is going to
It
go.
plays with your expectations really well. Like yeah, it plays with a lot of your expectations, I feel like.
Yeah, I couldn't. And then finally, I'm like, oh, especially when it has like the weird, creepy witch-looking prophet woman.
Yep.
I was like, oh, is this going to all of a sudden turn into a real horror movie with like ghosts and paranormal stuff?
Nope.
And it goes off in another direction. I was like, oh, okay, that I was
This
not
is weird
expecting
and
that. And
crazy and like even the people who survive, I didn't expect to be the survive. It's just it plays with all of those expectations, honestly.
yeah, there's a couple plot points where I was some of them it's like after it happened, I was like, oh, like I almost should have seen that coming, but I was paying attention to something else. And there's a
Yeah.
few plot twists, but it's like sometimes I love those simple movies like this where it's like almost all one house with a few people and it's all about the story and the tension. And it doesn't overcomplicate it with just tons of other stuff or with a lot of backstory. Like the only backstory you get is just what they talk about while they're there. Like we didn't see these girls, we didn't have any flashbacks or things like that. To just yeah, there's parts where not to ruin it too much, but he's trying to tell them almost kind of like we're living in a simulation type of thing. And then he cuts one of the girl's arms and removes like some sort of microchip. He's like, "Oh, here's
Yep.
proof." And then she's like, I don't think that's a microchip. I think that's like a birth control thing. And then it's like, why would she have that as being Mormon if she's Mormon? And it's like, well,
Why would she
because
know that? Well, why would they be talking about porn in the beginning? Like
yeah.
all that stuff is so like little bits and pieces that they put in there just for you to like chew on later.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of the girls is more like hardcore Mormon. The other one, it seems like she has her doubts, and the one like she grew up in the church. The other one, like her mom was a convert, so she doesn't have like the longer family history. So it seems
Hmm.
like she's gonna be the one to have more cracks in the belief. And then there even comes a time where Hugh Grant has two doors, and he writes belief on one and disbelief on the other, and he's like, one of these leads to the way out, the other doesn't. And of course, the more believing girl is like, let's go through the disbelief one because that's obviously what he's trying to trick
That's
us
what you trick us
into doing.
into.
But the other one's like, no, he's probably expecting we'll do that, so we should go to the belief one. And it's like there's so many moments like that where it's like you don't know where it's going to go next. Like it is a very well executed story.
I mean, I wish I had more to say about it. I feel like I'd just be rehashing things. What would you rate it?
I'd give it an 8, I guess. Maybe.
Same, exact same. I would give it an 8. It didn't have me being like, oh, but it did. It had me really on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, it's one of like you don't get that a lot anymore, especially with horror movies. Like so many of them disappoint me. It's rare that you just watch something and you're like
It
satisfied.
just
It's like,
sucks you in
yeah,
immediately.
it's like that was a good movie. Usually I'm like, this is kind of boring, but I'll sit through it anyway, and I
Slog
like
to
a bit of
get
it.
through. You
Yeah,
pull out
that's like
your phone, you like type out a little bit on your phone, you're doing other things. This one, yeah, just sucks me right in, and
yeah,
it's like,
it was gripping.
what is Hugh Grant doing? And it has three people, four people if you really stretch it. Four people.
I'm not even after watching, I'm not sure what his point was. Like I think he's just trying to point out just the absurdity
I
of
think
like any
he's
religious
nuts.
belief is ridiculous. Like, but for a guy to go to those lengths to prove it, it's like he's got to have some sort of complex or something because it's like
Yeah,
that's
some sort
pretty
of like,
insane.
or he's just like some sort of weird, crazy serial killer, like in Barbarian or something.
Yeah, it's I guess the reason I wouldn't give it a full 10 and it's something that it's not a huge criticism, but the look of the movie, like it looked very well done. It was well shot, but it just seems like every movie now looks like that. Like it didn't, it just
What would you say that is? Would you say it's like flat colors?
I don't know. It's almost kind of like cameras and lighting has gotten too good, where it's like reached a point where it can't get better, but it
Hmm.
also can't look different. Like it seemed like in the 90s, like movies look different from each other. Like
I
True
get what you
Lies
mean.
look different than Batman. Like it just like they just had a different look. Where now it's like that's how a modern, fairly high budget horror movie looks.
Yeah, it's
It's
got
it,
this muted color palette. It's got like dim lighting. It's got like high shadows kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, that's the look of the movie where then you go back if you watch say Return of the Living Dead or it's like it looks different. It's like lighting's different.
I
But,
The production design is like almost the same from horror movie to horror
yeah,
movie.
it's like the story is different, but it looks and that's what part of the worry about AI is that if it just kind of replicates things to make it easier, it's gonna just make it the same. It's like that's how a movie looks, but it's like I want the story to be different, but I want movies to look different too. And it's like it's hard. I mean, as a filmmaker, it's hard to put my finger on what the problem is, but it's just like yeah, like it just seems like every
I think you
movie.
put your finger on the problem. It's that. It's different but the same. It's the cereal aisle of the grocery store.
Yeah,
There's 600,000 different types of cereal, but they're all the same. Like they're all like cornflakes with sugar on them or whatever the hell, or maybe some
yeah.
like stuffed inside. Like, but they're all the same.
And I'm sure like they probably put a lot of time into lighting and set deck and everything. Like it was a very like you could tell they had some love in there, but it just like I watched that movie Men, that horror movie the other day, and it was
You
pretty
like
cool.
that?
Yeah, I liked it, but it looked like that. It just had that same like the sets were a bit different, but it just had that same overall feel. Like the story was quite a bit different, but it just seems like every like A24 kind of movie, and even like
That's also part of it. They're all A24 for
yeah,
that.
but even like the
Um,
Blumhouse movie, it just seems like a lot of things look. I guess it was kind of like in the 90s, all the rom-coms kind of just had that look like that. Like,
yes. Um,
I don't know. I don't know how to fix the problem. Like, I'm not a cinematographer, so I don't even know how to really explain what my dislike of it is.
but there is something there.
Yeah, I just kind of want.
I might
I
have to
guess
watch it.
what's that one that came out that was the one with the devil talk show? What was that came out
Oh,
like?
I like that one, Late Night with the Devil. I really
Yeah,
like
yeah, that was cool and it looked different. It was
it. It was
absolutely
amazing. It was psychedelic as hell.
yeah, and it just like it didn't look like the others. And it's like I want more things like that where it's like this
Yes,
is
I
something I
agree.
remember the images from it as much as the story.
Oh my God, some of the imagery from that film was nuts.
Yeah, that was I like watching movies like that where it's like, okay, that was like so creative and different than other things.
Have you seen The
Um,
Substance?
no, I haven't seen it yet.
Check it out.
Yeah, I've
Check
been
it
hearing a lot
out.
of good things. I'll see it eventually.
I'm gonna have to watch Men because a friend of mine who watched it really, 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 really didn't like it. So hearing you say it was all right, I might have to watch it.
That's funny because I heard, I think most people I heard from said they hated it, but I was like, I'll watch it anyway. And I was like, nah, that's pretty, it's kind of similar to Heretic in a way, like the story's different, but it's just that same kind of tension where everything
Mhm.
seems kind of nice, but it's like, it's maybe not so nice. And then it just gets worse and worse. And then by the end, it's like, what the freaking hell's going on?
Well, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Check it out. You may or may not like it. I kind of like movies like that. I've just learned that even like my friends and my circle on social media, their opinions don't really matter that much because mine's different half the time, whether I like things that they don't or vice versa. So it's kind of like whatever. I'll just watch things for myself and
Yeah, I'll just see how it goes and see what
yeah.
happens.
Especially like with horror movies, some of them are like the story is so like unconventional that I'm like I can see why people hate this, but I can see why
Right.
people like it too.
I agree with you. I can see there's definitely those movies that fill that role. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Men. I wonder what people have been thinking about Heretic now that I think about it. I really haven't asked myself. I don't know if anybody in my circle has seen it.
I remember people talking about it. I think it has like on IMDb, it's like a 7 point something,
Fair
which is
enough. I mean, I would be surprised if anyone gave it a low rating. I'd have questions for that person about what they watch normally.
yeah, it's like if people hate something, it's like what were you expecting? People, I think sometimes people like it's like if they just don't like something about it, they'll give it a one just because
One,
it's the
because they
worst
were like, it
rating.
didn't live up to all of my
Yeah.
expectations.
Even like some of my movies, it's like, how could you give it a one? Like it's not the worst thing ever. Like it's like give it a three or but they're just like, oh, I hate this. I'm gonna give it a one just because it's the worst rating. And
Because it made me feel bad.
yeah, it's like, but yeah, like I mean, even a seven for a horror movie is like,
Pretty big.
yeah,
Because
like
like
horror
usually
movies
they
just
stick
tend to have
around
low
4 or 5.
ratings.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a huge thing for them. No, I think it deserves its 7. I definitely give it an 8. I think it deserves an 8. I would say if you get the chance to watch it, you must watch it because it's
Absolutely.
just that good.
All right, well, we'll see everyone next time, and bye for now.